This week, our top 10 is a little fun, but potentially eye-opening for some of you. I asked for the top 10 frustrations for today's admins, and we had many to choose from. There were many frustrations for today's administrative professional, and we're hoping that if you work with an admin professional, you can listen and potentially recognize something you are unintentionally doing, which frustrates us. Maybe you can make the life of your admin a little bit easier by making a slight adjustment. And for those of us who are admins, we can relate and share some great solutions for some of these problems too. Our first and by far the most common frustration comes from many of you. And you don't have to be an admin to find this frustrating either. The biggest frustration shared is when others don't fully read an email and then ask the admin questions that are clearly answered in that email. Or to take it a little bit further, when we ask multiple questions and you don't answer all of them because you haven't fully read the email. This issue was suggested and agreed by dozens of you, which is why it ranks as number one. The rest of our top 10 are in no particular order, but they are still shared by many admins today. Number two is from Carol Fitzgerald from Chicago, Illinois, and most of us can relate to the frustrations of a micromanager. Need I say more? Let us do our job so that you can do yours. Michelle Morford from Marysville, Washington shared another very common frustration that many of us can relate to, whether we're an admin or not. We need our colleagues to start treating shared spaces in a respectful way. I know that many offices have the sign that reads, "Your mother doesn't work here, clean up after yourself," in the common area. But seriously, why do you think that someone else should clean up your spills, pick up what missed the trash can, or even be the one to push in your chair? Big frustration everywhere, right? Number four is from Kim Armstrong from Timmins, Ontario, and is also email related. Kim's frustration is emails without a proper subject line. Yep, that one annoys a lot of people. Rhonda Eichel from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan says that her biggest frustration as an admin when she sends a meeting or an event invite asking for RSVP and people don't RSVP. It makes it very hard to know how to handle catering for events like that. Now, there was a great discussion on our Facebook page about this, so be sure to pop over and read all the great ideas on how to handle that. They were brilliant. Dana Hoffman from Cleveland, Ohio brings us to number six, and Dana finds it frustrating when others procrastinate even when she has provided reminders about the deadlines. She finds it frustrating that when they provide it at the 11th hour or even later, then she has to work overtime to finish the project when everyone else is walking out the door. Number seven is from Kelly Norton from Austin, Texas, and is similar yet different to Dana's. Kelly finds it frustrating when others don't value her time, which is what Dana was saying, but Kelly expands the frustration when people ask her for information that she has already sent multiple times. Why don't they use their search function or organize their emails? Instead, they ask her to spend more time sending it again, and it feels like that she has all the time in the world to send things, and that feels disrespectful. And we don't have all of the time in the world to send things. We've sent you several times, so I know that many are saying amen after listening to this frustration. Bonnie Lowe Craman from Jacksonville, Florida says that her biggest frustration as an admin is radio silence. Did you get what I send you? Did you read it? Do you need to spend more time? Do I need to send it again? Yep, radio silence is frustrating. Number nine comes from Anne McKevitt from Chicago, Illinois, and Anne suggests that if you're using an electronic filing system that is shared, like SharePoint, you need to use a consistent naming convention. How do you expect others to find what you have filed? And joked about having to use mind reading techniques to figure out where things are, which brings us to number 10 and those mind reading techniques. Robin Gardner Campbell from Ann Arbor, Michigan says that her biggest frustration is that there aren't any mind reading classes available for today's admin. Maybe I can figure out how to do that and make that into a webinar. Regardless of our rules, admins or not, we all have frustrations at work. You probably can relate to all of these. What we want to is ensure that you aren't doing them. Thanks for listening.